Sagittarius, there are moments in life that arrive without any warning. They come like a strange breeze in the middle of the night, tightening your chest before you even understand why. Have you felt that lately? As if something beneath the surface, something quiet but powerful, has been moving around you. A subtle current, deep enough to make you pause, place your hand over your heart, and wonder, why do I feel this uneasiness? It's not because you're fragile, and it's not your imagination running wild. This is your soul reacting to frequencies the eyes can't see, but the heart can feel clearly. Sagittarius, the universe is shifting. It's opening the door to one of the most important phases of your life. And before a new light reaches you, a soft shade will fall over your world, the way a theater curtain lowers just before the first act begins. Someone in your life, someone who once stood very close, someone who appeared in the most beautiful chapters of your story, is preparing to step away from your path. They won't say it out loud. They don't want to hurt you. But every step they take, every breath, every tiny change, has already begun sliding out of the shared space you once lived in together. This isn't a sudden departure. It's a decision that has been forming quietly for a long time, like a seed placed beneath the soil, waiting for the right moment to break open and follow its own direction. You may have sensed it through subtle signs, the distant look in their eyes, a conversation that ends halfway, a touch that no longer keeps its warmth the way it used to. And you told yourself you were overthinking, but the heart of a Sagittarius is rarely wrong. You are the sign of truth, intuition wrapped in fire and wind. And sometimes even you underestimate how deeply you can feel the shift in another soul. What's coming toward you is not just a goodbye, not just a simple change. It feels like a crossroads the universe placed in your journey a long time ago. A turning point you cannot avoid, cannot pause, cannot walk around. It is destiny adjusting itself. A chapter closing gently, so a new one can open in the way it was always meant to. This departure may leave you confused at first. You may feel the weight of loss, the hollow space of something missing, and that is human. Anyone who loves deeply will ache when an important piece of their life begins to fade. But Sagittarius, you are a rare soul, born with feet that long to keep moving, a heart that wants to open, a spirit made to explore the most beautiful corners of life. So even though this moment carries the tone of separation, it also carries the first sparks of a journey that only the brave are allowed to enter. Let yourself breathe a little slower. Don't blame yourself. Don't search for fault. This isn't on you, and it isn't on them. It is simply the universe rearranging the energy between two souls that have traveled together long enough. Now, one must turn in a different direction, and you are being prepared to rise into a stronger, brighter version of yourself. And when you sit in stillness, just for a moment, you'll feel something opening ahead of you, like a sunrise you can't yet see, but you know it's coming. A quiet reminder from the universe is calling your name, guiding you toward the road your heart is meant to take. A call that isn't loud, but strong enough to let you know you're standing at the doorway of something far more beautiful than the sadness you're carrying now. It's like that moment when you open the door and step out onto your porch at dawn, the cool air brushing across your shoulders. And somehow, instinctively, you just know something in your life is about to change direction. No warning, no explanation, just a quiet pressure in your chest, a slow, steady feeling that makes your heart pause for a beat. And from that stillness, the truth begins to reveal itself. You start noticing small signs, the kind that have been appearing for weeks, maybe even months. Signs so subtle that anyone who doesn't live with their heart wide open would never recognize them. They became quieter. Their eyes didn't linger on you the way they used to. Messages that were once warm began to shorten. Conversations that used to run deep now ended halfway. And moments that once connected you suddenly felt blurred, as if a thin layer of fog had slipped between the two of you without a sound. Sagittarius, you know that feeling well. The feeling of someone slowly pulling away from your world without making a single noise. They don't want to hurt you. They don't want to leave a clear fracture. But each day, their silence stretches a little longer. Every meeting becomes shorter. Every smile carries something missing, something no longer whole. People say silence is the truest language of a wandering soul. They don't speak because they're afraid of breaking you. They avoid because they don't have the strength to face the truth. And they retreat because there's a storm inside them that they don't want to spill into your life. What they're carrying isn't anger. It's not indifference, and it's not betrayal. It's a kind of exhaustion even they can't fully explain. A quiet storm gathering in their chest, pushing them to seek space just to understand themselves. They move through days full of questions, nights without sleep, thoughts they refuse to place on your shoulders. So they choose silence, not to abandon you cruelly, but to prepare for something neither of you has the words for yet. They know this change will touch you. They know it will push your fiery, honest Sagittarius heart into colder winds than you deserve. So they don't speak, they don't share, they don't even breathe too loudly. They just fade, slowly, like the last light of day, dimming to make room for the night. But in that retreat, something deeper begins to show itself. You see them gathering their courage, standing at the edge of a decision they've been avoiding. You see the conflict in their eyes, a part of them wanting to stay, a part knowing that staying would trap both of you in a loop neither heart can survive. And though you tried not to admit it, you felt this long ago. Your intuition always moves several steps ahead of your logic. You saw the shift in their breathing, the way they listened, the way they rushed to end a meeting that once would have stretched late into the night. But Sagittarius, sometimes silence carries a gift, a reminder that you deserve connections built on clarity and truth. And to reach those connections, the universe must sometimes guide your eyes toward the very stillness you've been avoiding. Everything is moving, even if so softly that you barely notice it. And from this quiet withdrawal, another door is beginning to open, one that leads you to a place your heart has long been afraid to step into. Just stay still for a moment, and you'll hear the whisper the universe has been saving just for you. It doesn't come like a loud bell ringing. It doesn't push you. It doesn't force you. It slips quietly into the moments when you think you're standing there alone, and it touches you with a gentleness that only a soul who has lived long enough can recognize. And when you allow yourself to truly listen, you realize something. Your intuition has been ahead of this truth for a very long time. That's who Sagittarius is. You carry an arrow pointed toward the future, yet your heart always catches the smallest movements of the present. Maybe you never said it out loud. Maybe you even tried to look the other way. But deep inside, a quieter part of you has always known that something was shifting. These signals weren't random. They came like thin winds, so light that if you were rushing through life, you'd never feel them. But you did feel them, didn't you? One day, you looked into their eyes and saw the light inside dimming. Not because the love was gone, but because they were carrying something they couldn't share with you. Their eyes felt like a half-closed door, revealing a shadowed room you knew you could never step into. You remember the hugs that weren't hurried anymore. They lasted longer, stayed quieter, as if they were softly storing your presence for a tomorrow they themselves were afraid to face. When their arms wrapped around you, something in the air shifted. A faint tightness, a quiet longing, and a trace of fear you couldn't quite name. Then you noticed their moods rising and falling like the tide at dusk. The laughter became rare. The thoughts grew heavier. Sometimes they drifted into a silence so private you couldn't reach it, even when they were sitting just across the table. Sagittarius feels energy changes like few others can, and you sensed clearly that the person in front of you was holding a weight they refused to let fall on you. But perhaps what unsettled you most were the dreams. Those repeating dreams where you stood in a misty place calling someone's name, but no voice answered back. Or the dreams where you saw someone walking away, further and further. And no matter how fast you ran, the distance only grew. You woke with an emptiness you couldn't explain, as if you had brushed against a layer of truth your body wasn't ready to understand. Sagittarius, these things aren't coincidence, and they're not stories your mind created. This is the way the universe speaks to souls with hearts as wide as yours, through feelings, through glances, through quiet winds, through nameless dreams. You saw it all before it took shape. You heard the footsteps leaving before the door even closed. You sensed the distance before it showed up in the space between you. And even though you didn't want to believe it, your heart still accepted it with a maturity not everyone has. Your intuition is never wrong. It is the arrow that guides you, the flame that lights the corners. Your mind hesitates to enter. You've always known, and that knowing is what makes you stronger than anyone realizes right now. But Sagittarius, beneath all that sadness, there is something else waiting to unfold, something your heart is afraid of and curious about at the same time, because it carries both a challenge and a gift meant only for you. And when you look closely at these signs, you'll see your path beginning to shift into a different kind of light, as if destiny itself is turning its wheel, guiding you toward a place you never dared to imagine. These movements are subtle at first, almost impossible to see with the naked eye. But when you're standing here, in this very moment, when your heart suddenly becomes sensitive to every breeze, every pause, every quiet space around you, you begin to understand that something deep within your life is being rearranged, not loudly, not quickly, but with unmistakable power. And then, the thing you've been avoiding finally comes into focus. This departure, Sagittarius, it isn't just an emotional story. It isn't simply losing a person, or a connection, or a familiar routine. It feels like a key piece of your life is being pulled out, forcing the entire structure around it to shift and find a new balance. You may feel the ground beneath your feet begin to move, as if everything familiar is suddenly less certain. Your daily routines, your timelines, the words that used to comfort you, they start to change shape, not because the world is turning away from you, but because your life is moving into a different rhythm, a rhythm of growth, a rhythm of rebirth. There will be moments when you stand in front of the mirror and ask yourself, how far have I come from where I started? You'll look into your own eyes and see a soul, preparing to step onto the greatest journey it has ever known. A journey no longer defined by anyone else, no longer tied to old expectations, no longer shaped by what you were afraid to lose. You'll start to realize that the pain of separation has not only taken something away from you, it has returned something too, a wide, open space you haven't had access to in years. When someone walks out of your life, they take a familiar piece with them, but they leave behind a space. And that space becomes the soil where something new can begin to grow. The universe always works this way. It never removes something without planting the seed of something else. Sagittarius, you are the sign of movement, of open doors, of discovery. So when a chapter closes, it doesn't come to hold you down. It comes to open another door, a door that leads you back to your truest, most liberated self. The version you're stepping into is not an upgraded version of who you were. It is an entirely new form, stronger, deeper, clearer about what you want and what you can no longer accept. In the days ahead, you will see this shift more clearly. Things that once frightened you will feel lighter. Things you once clung to will no longer feel necessary. You will start looking at the world with different eyes, wider, sharper, more awake. And sometimes, you will feel a strange calm inside you, even while everything around you is changing. That calm is the sign that the universe is rearranging its energy around you. Old doors are closing, not because you're unworthy, but because you've grown beyond them. What fit the version of you yesterday won't fit the version of you tomorrow. And then, in the moment you think you've lost too much, a small light will spark inside you. Small, but warm enough to keep you from feeling lost. Bright enough to let you know life is guiding you toward a place entirely new. A place your heart, deep down, has wanted for a very long time. All you need is to let yourself move forward, even slowly, even gently. But with trust in the path the universe is quietly opening right in front of you. Because what's waiting for you ahead isn't a cold wind, but a half-open door where a thin line of light slips through and reaches the deepest part of your soul. As if it's inviting you to come closer, listen more carefully, and feel with the fullness of your grown, seasoned heart. Sagittarius, whenever a soul is brave enough to step into the space between the old and the new, there is always a gift waiting there. And your gift is coming closer each day. There were moments when you thought you were simply moving through a vague, confusing phase, but then you realized every sign, every shift, every quiet pause around you has been leading you toward one important moment. A moment that, no matter how prepared you think you are, will still make your heart tighten for just a brief, breathtaking second. The way the ocean stills before the waves change direction. There is news coming to you, Sagittarius. News from a place you never expected. or from someone whose energy has been changing long before the truth reached your hands. It might be a phone call at a time when you thought no one would call, a message in the middle of the night that makes you sit up in silence, a confession someone has carried for too long, or even a piece of information you overhear by accident. But it falls into place perfectly, unlocking the whole picture you've been sensing for so long. That moment will feel strange. Time will slow down. The sounds around you will fade, and you'll feel an empty space open in your chest. Painful, peaceful, confusing, yet crystal clear all at once. Like standing at the edge of the ocean at sunset, watching the sun sink into the water, and in that single moment, you can't tell if you're losing something or being given something new. What makes this moment special isn't the content of the news, it's the way it wakes you up. It forces you to look directly at a truth your heart has held for a long time. It doesn't come to punish you or to frighten you. It comes to release your heart from the things that have been hanging there, unresolved, for far too long. Sagittarius, you'll want to stay calm, but your heart will tremble in a deeply human way. The tremble of a soul that has loved, that has lost, that has hoped, and that has grown. But inside that tremble, you'll find a clarity you thought you had lost. And as everything begins to reveal itself, you'll see that life always knows how to deliver the truth at the exact moment you're strong enough to face it. Not earlier, not later. Whatever this news carries, it is a crucial piece of the larger story you're stepping into. Your breathing will slow. Your thoughts will sharpen in a way that feels almost unfamiliar. It will pull you out of the fog and place you right where your soul needs to stand. In that place, you won't only see someone else's truth, you'll see your own more clearly than ever before. You'll see what you must release, what you must keep, what you must protect, and what you must open your heart to. And in that thin beam of light, something else will begin to awaken. Something you've been avoiding because you feared it would change you too much. But Sagittarius, some changes don't come to take from you. They come to return something life has owed you for a long, long time. And when you touch that truth, another door will quietly unlock, in the gentlest way the universe reserves for souls brave enough to face themselves. You'll begin to understand that what's happening now is not a meaningless break. It's more like the opening movement of a symphony, a little somber at first, a little heavy. Yet beneath it, there is a hidden melody guiding you toward the place your soul is meant to unlock. And when you listen with your heart, you'll recognize a truth most people spend their entire lives too afraid to face. Some separations do not come to punish you. They come to set you free. Sagittarius, this is not your fault, and it's not theirs either. What's unfolding between you and another person in your life is not something either of you can control. It belongs to a deeper layer, to the soul map that you and this person agreed upon long before either of you arrived in this lifetime. Whoever is stepping out of your journey now, for whatever reason, is not doing so out of neglect or lack of love. They leave because their role in your story has reached its natural completion. Maybe it's an older family member, someone who has carried fear or illness quietly, choosing silence because they believe love sometimes means sparing you from pain. They step back to protect your peace, even while facing something they can't put into words. You cannot blame them. Their silence, though it stings, is simply the way they love you with the gentlest heart they know how to offer. Or maybe it's your partner, someone whose heart has grown too tired to keep the pace it once did. Emotional exhaustion isn't a choice. It builds quietly, through unspoken nights, restless thoughts, and endless attempts to heal themselves even when they no longer can. They're not leaving because you weren't enough. They're leaving because they no longer have the strength to stay. And in its own difficult way, their departure is a cry for help, an admission that sometimes love alone cannot mend a soul fighting its own storms. Or perhaps it's a friend, the one who once felt inseparable from you. But their path is shifting now. Their dreams are calling them in a direction you can no longer walk beside. It hurts. Of course it does, when someone you care for must leave your familiar horizon. Yet sometimes, distance isn't meant to sever. It's meant to help each person grow at the rhythm their soul requires. Sagittarius, the most important thing to remember is this: departures of this magnitude never happen outside the universe's design. You cannot hold on to a soul that has chosen another road, and you cannot pull a planet back into your orbit once it has shifted into a new one. Souls meet for a reason, and when they leave, that reason is just as sacred. This is a soul contract, a silent agreement you and they signed long before now. It defined their role in your life, to lift you, to challenge you, to open your heart, or to awaken a part of you that had been asleep for far too long. And when their task is complete, they step away at the exact moment they are meant to, not earlier, not later. If you pause for just one breath, you'll notice that even within this pain there is light. The light of knowing you loved with everything you had. The light of knowing they fulfilled their purpose too. And the light of understanding that life is guiding you toward a new path, one you simply cannot see yet. For a soul as strong as Sagittarius, every goodbye is an invitation to step into a deeper room within yourself. A space where you begin to listen more closely, see more clearly, and love yourself more deeply than ever before. Because when the heart is pushed to its limits, there's only one thing left: the truth. Not someone else's truth, but the truth of your own soul. And from that fragile breaking point, the rebirth of Sagittarius begins. There will be days when you wake up and your body tries to protect itself by putting on that familiar armor of strength. You'll smile as if nothing happened. You'll work the way you always do. You'll tuck your sadness into the deepest part of your chest because you don't want anyone to see the cracks inside you. Sagittarius always looks forward, always wants to be a source of light for others. So admitting that you're hurting can feel harder than the hurt itself. There will be moments when you want to hold on, when you want to chase what's slipping away, when your hand instinctively reaches for the person who has already turned their back. Not because you're weak, but because you love deeply. Connections that matter leave marks big enough that the heart refuses to believe the story has reached its end. You'll miss the memories. You'll ask yourself where things went wrong. You'll look for another doorway back into what once was. These reactions are human. Anyone who loves with their whole heart walks through these emotions. But then, in some quiet moment, maybe when you're sitting down, breathing slowly, you'll realize there are things you cannot turn around. Not because you didn't love enough, but because their journey no longer runs alongside yours. And when that understanding settles inside you, soft as the last ray of sun at dusk, yet bright enough to light the entire room, you will begin to let go. Not out of weakness, but because you finally see that you too deserve to step into a new chapter. Sagittarius, you were born with the energy of expansion. You belong to wide horizons, open roads, experiences that stretch your spirit beyond its old borders. So even when it hurts, you are one of the signs most capable of rising again. When your inner fire is sparked once more, nothing can stop you from moving forward. And this dark season, the one that feels heavy, confusing, lonely, is exactly where the universe is placing a new strength inside you. Just as a seed must endure darkness before it breaks through the soil, you are being prepared for your own burst of light. The darkness is not here to swallow you. It's here to shape you into something brighter. A change not only in emotion, but in your entire perception, in the way you see the world and the way you see yourself. You'll feel your true freedom returning, but in a more grounded, mature form. No longer the freedom of running or drifting without direction, but the freedom of a soul that knows what it wants, what it needs, and what no longer belongs on its path. You'll begin opening the door to new things, new people, and new versions of yourself. The universe is activating your most powerful cycle of rebirth this year. You're not merely healing, you're being rebuilt. Each tear that falls is an old piece breaking away. Every pain you move through creates more room for light to enter. And one morning, maybe sooner than you think, you'll wake up feeling lighter, brighter, more steady, as if every part of you has shifted back into the place it was always meant to stand. And from that new ground, your next journey will begin to breathe. A soft, quiet call, yet strong enough to make your soul step forward once again. Not rushed, not loud, just quietly unfolding. Like the first morning light slipping through the last layers of night. You'll notice that after everything you've been through, your heart no longer trembles the way it once did. It becomes softer, brighter, and more certain about what's truly waiting for you ahead. Sagittarius, When one door closes, the universe never leaves you standing behind it. It always opens another path, sometimes wider, sometimes brighter, and often filled with more gifts than you ever dared to hope for. What's coming isn't meaningless loss. It's the necessary shift that moves you closer to your real journey. You'll begin to see small signs of hope threading their way back into your life, an unexpected invitation, a chance meeting, an opportunity arriving the moment you thought everything had gone dim. Sometimes it shows up in the form of a stranger whose words calm your heart. Sometimes it comes as a new idea or project that makes you feel alive again. And sometimes it rises from within you, from that fresh current of energy you thought you had lost. The space left behind by someone's departure becomes the fertile ground for something new to grow. You'll meet new people, people whose energy fits who you are now, who help you open your eyes, open your heart, and open your life in directions you never had the courage to explore before. New opportunities will arrive too, not by accident, but because your energy has already shifted. Life will start moving again with its familiar rhythm, but this time it will move in a way that feels deeper, truer, more aligned with your soul. No more invisible chains, no more fears holding you down, no more emotional debts forcing you to bow your head. Only the lightness of a heart that has walked through a long night and is finally seeing the first colors of dawn. Sagittarius, this ending is not a collapse. It is the destined push that places you back on the path you were born to walk. The path of freedom, of discovery, of horizons that open only when you're brave enough to release what no longer belongs. You'll feel a stream of light run through your chest when you think about the future. Not heavy like before, but gently exciting, like standing at the beginning of a long, open road lined with nature and wind, and knowing you've finally returned to your true self. And as you take that road, step by step, you'll realize that every pain, every tear, every fall was leading you to this moment. The moment you understand that light never abandons those who dare to walk through the dark. Sagittarius, your new journey has already begun, and you, with every wound, every lesson, every bit of light you've earned, are ready to step into it. Go now, with the vast, open heart the universe has always loved in you.